Welcome, survivalists and preppers. We're here today to delve into the top 7 crucial preparations for any SHTF scenario. From natural disasters to economic collapses, readiness is your best defense against the unforeseen. It's not about predicting the future, it's about being prepared for it. Our world is volatile and unpredictable, and in such times, the difference between survival and catastrophe often boils down to one thing: preparation. Today, we're going to guide you through the essential areas you need to focus on to ensure you and your loved ones are ready when the unexpected strikes. We'll discuss everything from securing a reliable water source to setting up off-grid power solutions, from mastering personal defense to building a diverse and long-lasting food supply. And remember, knowledge is power, and in this case, it could be the key to survival. So, stay tuned as we explore these 7 crucial areas of preparation. First and foremost, water is the essence of life, and securing a reliable water source is paramount. This isn't just a profound statement, it's a fundamental survival truth. In a world turned upside down, having a steady supply of water is a lifeline. But it's not just about finding water, it's about ensuring it's safe to drink. So, how do you do that? You need to master the art of water purification. There are several ways to make water potable, and it's crucial to familiarize yourself with these methods. Boiling is perhaps the most straightforward and effective way to purify water. By raising the temperature to a rolling boil, you can kill off most bacteria and viruses that pose a threat to your health. Then there's chemical treatment. This involves using substances like iodine or chlorine to kill pathogens. These are lightweight, portable, and can be a lifesaver in a pinch, but remember, they don't remove chemical pollutants. In a world where every drop counts, having a water filtration system can be a game changer. These systems can filter out bacteria, viruses, and other harmful substances, effectively turning a murky pond into a drinkable water source. But why stop there? Consider other techniques like solar distillation and rainwater collection. These methods can provide you with a steady water supply when traditional sources are scarce. It's also worth noting that water isn't just for drinking. It's essential for hygiene, cooking, and medical purposes. This means you'll need more than you might initially think. So, when planning your water strategy, don't just consider how you'll drink, but how you'll live. Stock up on purification tablets, invest in a good filtration system, and learn how to harness the power of nature to your advantage. Remember, knowledge is power, and in a survival scenario, it can mean the difference between life and death. Remember, without water, survival is a ticking clock. Make sure you're prepared to stop that clock. In a lawless situation, your ability to defend yourself and your loved ones becomes vital. While we all hope for peace and unity in the face of adversity, the harsh reality is that chaos can bring out the worst in people. This is why personal defense and tactical training should be a top priority in your survival preparation. First, let's address the elephant in the room: firearms. The value of a reliable personal firearm in a SHTF scenario is undeniable. It can provide protection, deterrence, and, if needed, a means to procure food. Different situations may call for different types of firearms, from handguns for close-quarters defense to rifles for longer-range protection. Therefore, having a variety in your arsenal is beneficial. But remember, a firearm is only as effective as the person wielding it. This leads us to our next point: tactical training. Tactical training goes beyond just knowing how to pull a trigger. It involves understanding the mechanics of your firearm, knowing how to maintain it, and being able to use it effectively under stress. It's about learning to make quick decisions in high-pressure situations, improving your situational awareness, and mastering the art of camouflage and stealth. This kind of training can make the difference between life and death in a survival situation. Additionally, don't forget about ammunition. In the aftermath of a societal collapse, ammunition will likely be in short supply and high demand. Stocking up on various types of ammo now, while it's readily available, is a wise move. However, always remember that ammo is heavy and takes up space, so balance your stockpile with your ability to transport it if necessary. In conclusion, personal defense and tactical training are not about promoting violence or fear. Instead, they're about equipping you with the tools and skills necessary to protect yourself and your loved ones when law and order are no longer guaranteed. Remember, the goal is always to avoid conflict when possible, but to be prepared for it when it's unavoidable. A well-prepared defender is a survivor. Next up, we have food storage, a pillar of survival in any scenario. Imagine a world where supermarkets are obsolete and the corner store is a distant memory. In these times, your food storage becomes your lifeline. Building a diverse and long-lasting food supply is paramount. It's not just about piling up canned goods and ready-to-eat meals, but also considering dry bulk items like grains and legumes. These foods are not only nutritious but can be stored for years without losing their quality. Having a variety in your food storage is crucial. It keeps meals interesting, provides a range of nutrients, and caters to different cooking situations. So diversify your stockpile with a mix of perishable and non-perishable items. Think canned vegetables, dried fruits, freeze-dried meats, powdered milk, and don't forget the spices for flavor. Once you've built up your food supply, the next step is to master food rotation practices. This is the first in, first out rule. Always consume the oldest items in your storage first. This practice ensures that nothing goes to waste and your stock remains fresh. Now, let's talk about storage solutions. Your food storage location should be cool, dry, and dark. This helps to maximize the shelf life of your food items. Consider investing in food-grade storage containers and vacuum sealers to further protect your food from pests and moisture. And remember, in a survival situation, every calorie counts. But it's not just about quantity, it's also about quality. Nutrient-dense foods are your best friends. Foods rich in protein, healthy fats, and complex carbohydrates should be staples in your food storage. Lastly, don't overlook the importance of comfort foods. In stressful times, a bar of chocolate or your favorite snack can be a real morale booster. So be smart, be strategic, and ensure you have a comprehensive food storage plan in place. This is not about hoarding, but about being prepared and self-reliant. With a well-planned food storage, you won't just survive, you'll thrive. When medical help is not on the way, your knowledge and supplies become the lifeline. In the midst of chaos, this couldn't be truer. Now imagine a scenario where you're isolated from the world with no immediate access to medical professionals. It's you, your family, and the wilderness. A simple cut or a minor burn could turn into a life-threatening situation if not treated properly and promptly. This is where your emergency medical skills and supplies come into play. First things first, you need to have a well-equipped first aid kit. This is non-negotiable. Your kit should include essentials like bandages of various sizes, antiseptics, tweezers, medical tape, gloves, painkillers, and a thermometer. A manual on basic first aid is a good addition too, serving as a quick reference guide when you need it most. But a first aid kit without the knowledge to use it is like a car without a driver. You need to know how to perform basic first aid techniques. Let's go through some of them. For minor cuts and scrapes, the first step is to clean the wound with clean water and antiseptic. Then apply a sterile dressing to protect it from infection. For burns, cool the area under cold running water, then cover it with a clean non-stick bandage. What about sprains and strains? Remember RICE. Rest, ice, compress, and elevate. Rest the injured area, apply an ice pack, wrap it snugly with a bandage, and elevate it above the level of the heart. Now these are just the basics. It's important to acquire more advanced medical skills too, like CPR, treating fractures, and handling severe wounds. There are plenty of resources available to help you learn these skills, from online courses to local community classes. Remember, in a survival situation, your medical skills are just as important as your food and water supplies. So, equip yourself with the right knowledge and tools to handle any medical emergencies that come your way. In a SHTF scenario, your medical skills can make the difference between life and death. So, invest your time and resources wisely. It's not just about survival, it's about thriving even in the face of adversity. Powering your survival, literally, we move on to energy independence. Imagine a world where the grid is down and the usual comforts of electricity are gone. You're not just surviving, you're thriving. How? By harnessing the power of the sun, the wind, even the simple act of turning a crank. This is the power of energy independence. Let's start with solar power. It's abundant, renewable, and more accessible than ever. With solar panels, you can capture the sun's energy during the day and store it in batteries for use when the sun goes down. From powering lights to charging devices, solar power offers a sustainable solution for long-term survival scenarios. Wind energy is another viable option. If you're in an area with consistent wind patterns, a small wind turbine can supplement or even replace your need for solar power. It's about diversifying your energy sources, much like your food storage. But what if the sun isn't shining and the wind isn't blowing? Backup generators are your answer. These can run on various fuels, including propane, gasoline, or diesel. Remember, diversification is key. Having multiple fuel options increases your chances of staying powered up when the grid is down. Hydroelectric power is also an option if you're near a flowing water source. Small portable hydro generators can convert the energy of flowing water into electricity, providing a constant power source day or night. But let's not forget about energy conservation. It's not just about generating power, it's about using it wisely. This means using energy-efficient appliances, properly insulating your shelter, and practicing good habits like turning off lights when not in use. Alternative energy isn't just for the tech-savvy. It's for everyone who wants to maintain a semblance of normalcy in a world turned upside down. It's for those who understand that survival isn't just about making it through the day, but living comfortably while doing so. Energy independence isn't just about survival, it's about maintaining a level of comfort amidst chaos. When the grid goes down, how will you reach out? In a world where we're so accustomed to instant communication, it's easy to forget how vital it becomes when conventional networks fail. In a survival situation, staying connected with the outside world is not a luxury, but a necessity. Imagine a scenario where the power's out, cell towers are down, and you're cut off from the world. Your ability to communicate can mean the difference between isolation and informed decision-making. It's not just about reaching out for help, but also receiving critical updates and coordinating with others. Now let's talk about the tools that can bridge that gap when the usual channels are no longer available. First up, satellite phones. These devices bypass terrestrial communication networks, instead connecting directly to orbiting satellites. They can be a game changer, providing you with the ability to make calls and send messages from virtually anywhere in the world. Next, we have ham radios or amateur radios. Don't let the name fool you though. These radios are anything but amateurish. With the right knowledge and equipment, a ham radio operator can send and receive signals over vast distances, even across continents. It's a hobby for some, but in a crisis, it's a lifeline. And then we have emergency radios. These devices are specifically designed for disaster scenarios. They can receive weather alerts, news broadcasts, and other vital information. Some models are even equipped with hand cranks or solar panels, ensuring they'll work when the batteries run out. Finally, let's not forget about simple, low-tech solutions. A whistle can signal your location to rescuers, and smoke signals can be seen from miles away. Even a mirror can be used to flash sunlight and catch someone's attention. It's not just about having these tools, though. Knowing how to use them effectively is equally important. That's why it's crucial to learn and practice before a disaster strikes. In an emergency, communication can be your lifeline to the outside world. So make sure you're equipped and ready to reach out when the grid goes down. Lastly, are you ready to leave at a moment's notice? When it hits the fan, time is a luxury you won't have. That's where the evacuation plan and the bug-out bag come into play. An evacuation plan isn't just a route on a map, it's a strategic blueprint for survival. You need to know where you're going and the best way to get there, considering multiple routes and modes of transportation. You need to identify safe spots to rest, to find resources, and to rendezvous with your group if you're separated. But what about when you can't drive, when the roads are blocked or unsafe? That's when you go on foot. Hence, your evacuation plan should also include routes that can be traversed by walking. This is where topographical maps can be handy. They'll show you the terrain, the elevation, the bodies of water, everything you need to navigate the wild. Now let's talk about the bug-out bag. This is your life in a bag, a compact cache of essential supplies designed to keep you alive for at least 72 hours. It should be lightweight and comfortable to carry, but also robust enough to withstand harsh conditions. Your bug-out bag should include, but not limited to, food, water, shelter, first aid supplies, tools, and communication devices. And remember, it's not a one-size-fits-all solution. You have to customize it to your needs, your skills, and your environment. Food and water are obvious, but what about shelter? A compact tent or a sleeping bag can be life-saving. A good first aid kit, non-negotiable. Tools like a multi-tool, a fire starter, a flashlight, and a knife, absolutely necessary. And don't forget about communication devices. In a disaster situation, information can be as vital as food and water. But remember, every ounce counts. Only pack what you absolutely need and what you know how to use. Preparation is key. Know where you're going, how you're getting there, and what you're bringing. Because when it's time to go, it's time to go. There's no room for hesitation or second guessing. Your survival depends on it. We've covered a lot today, and it's clear that preparedness is multifaceted. From securing a reliable water source and purifying it, To mastering the art of self-defense and tactical training, every step is crucial. Building a diverse food storage, learning emergency medical skills, and setting up independent energy sources are equally vital. Not to forget, maintaining communication capabilities when conventional networks are down and having a solid evacuation plan with a prepped bug-out bag is paramount. These 7 steps serve as a foundation for survival in any SHTF scenario. Like a game of chess, you must think several moves ahead, anticipate the challenges, and have a strategy in place. Assess your current preparedness level and see where you can improve. Enhance your readiness, because in the end, it's not about the fittest, but the most prepared that survive. Remember, the best way to survive any SHTF scenario is to be prepared.